Hey guys, how's it going? Ghosty Richard today, and today we're going to be doing an oil change on this Mazda 3 2016. The first thing you're going to want to do is jack up your car, but first, park, and once your car is in park, make sure you put your parking brake on, especially if you have a manual. And this is just to make sure your car doesn't roll backwards. So once it's in park and you have your car parking brake on, next thing you do is you can jack it up right here on the pinch weld. You'll see this on your car. Easiest way to do it whatsoever. Jack it up, throw a jack stand underneath. If you only have one, you can go a little higher on the one side, but I usually like to go to the second tooth, or so that way two teeth are exposed. All you do is simply put it underneath, jack your car up, be careful when you do so, and then put it underneath. I usually try to aim right here. Gives you a good aim spot just before it. And then again, you just do the same to this side. Put it right there. After you do that, I like to pull my oil cap from the top here and just put it off to the side. And now we're gonna go underneath and we're gonna loosen the drain plug. So if we get underneath the front of our car, you are going to see there's this little panel, which we'll leave alone. We'll come to this big panel in the back. What you're going to want to do is get a panel popper tool and pop it forward. You're going to do that. Show you again. So you'll find that there's a groove on one of the pins. Just have to find that groove. And you slip your tool underneath. You can also do this with a flat blade. See how I just got the tip underneath and I moved it down? Now I can take the whole thing and just do that. It's so easy. Slip in, pop it a little much, slip it down the center, pop it out. Now we have two 8mm. Take out your two 8mm. Grab this. As you can see right here, all we're doing is loosening both these. Leave those down. Oh look, it's our filter. So that right there is our filter. And right here is our oil pan. So that makes it really easy for both things for your oil change. Filter right here, which you might be able to get it with your hand, but chances are you're gonna need a filter wrench. I'll show you what that looks like. You can also use channel locks, but I usually suggest using a filter wrench. Before you take this one off though, always drain the pan first, because what it can do is it can drain this a little bit. As you can see, it's an Allen key socket, so you'll need either an HW8 or I believe this one is a 5/16. Both of them I found fit in there pretty snug. This is my first time changing the oil on this one, so if you switched out this drain plug, it might not be an Allen key bolt. You might have a 14, a 15, 16 mil bolt in here, but for the one that's being used in here right now, we do have Allen key, so I'm just going to throw an Allen key in this one. When lining your pan up, I like to, if we're looking at it from the side, do 25-75. So 25% past the plug, just in case it hits anything, and then 75% farther than the plug. So that way, when it's draining, when you get that big loop, it'll come out like this. And again, you can even go a little more if you want. What I've already done is you just take your ratchet, you crack that bit of pressure, then put a wobble extension on it and loosen it from over here. And then that way, when you loosen it, it's going to come out. And if you can try and keep the bolt on the end, you're doing good. Let's see if I can do it. If not, I'll just get it out of the pan. And look at that. That was so close. But yeah, just let it drain. It's going to drain for a while. Don't expect it to be quick. And just have some rags on the ready. After this is done, you can, of course, after this is drained down enough, but see what I mean? See that secondary stream? Maybe not. That's what you're aiming to catch as well. Because if you move your pan too far forward, you'll end up having that secondary stream go all over. I'm going to leave this down over here and I'll clean this up with the rags. Try and not let your screw touch the ground like I've done there. Or how I've done it there so it's not touching the ground. The reason why is you don't want any of the dirt from the floor on the threads and to cause stripping or anything like that. Next, grab some paper towels or some clean flow rags and clean that up. See how it's already gone down over here? Now I'm going to move this pan back a bit and we're good. Once you've gotten to a point where it's just lightly dripping, it's up to you. This is usually when I'll slip the plug back in. Some people will leave it draining for about a half an hour. You can do whatever you'd like. If you're just doing a fast oil change and you're changing it consistently at about 5,000 to 8,000 kilometers for synthetic, then just go ahead and slam that plug back in and you'll be good to go till your next oil change. There's two ways to do it. Like I said, channel locks. There's also a filter wrench which just squeezes around it, which is the same as channel locks, or you get a wrench like this from which closes like this when you go to loosen it, and that way you can take it off. Now this one I might have grabbed, might be a little bit bigger than I should have. I didn't even need a wrench, just grabbed it with both hands and just grabbed it and just monkey gripped it, and there you go. Now you just gotta unscrew it slowly. This allows, if there's any oil on the threads, they're gonna drain back into the pot. So once you get this cracked off, which all I did is actually end up grabbing with both hands and going for it, and it worked. And then now you're just gonna slowly wind this out. And the reason why I say slowly is if you unscrew it, let it depressurize and do its thing, all the oil should drain back in. Some of them don't, depending. And so, let's see here. See, a little bit of oil there. Sometimes it's just how it goes, which is fine. It's just it getting drained out. Again, some people, depending on what you want to do, you can leave this dripping while you do this, and then it also does it. You can see there's quite a bit still left in the line. Just gonna let it do that for a second, and then I'll wipe it off with a rag and then continue to unscrew and get this out of the way. After that, we can screw the new one on. On your new filter, take your finger, dip it in your oil, get a little bit of oil on there. Just rub the gasket all the way around. What this does is get a little bit of fluid on there and allows for it to sit better. And then after you got that fluid on there, come up and over here, grab it, and back thread, then on she goes. And then once you get it on there, take a rag. If you have any oil on it, you just want to get it off. Get the oils off your hand. And if you have a glove or whatnot, you're just gonna grab it and hand tighten it. And the reason why you only hand tighten it is so that way, next time you go to take it off, it can be taken off easily. Because if not, and you put that on too much and you don't put that oil on the rim, it could seize, and then you have to use an oil wrench to take it off next time. But if you do it by hand, you don't need to. And to tell you the truth, I've always done these by hand. I've never had one come off, ever. It has never backed off. So if you're like, oh my gosh, what if it comes off? Nope, never had it. When it comes to that final tightening, put it in there, make sure it's in there nice and good, and just give it a good yank with your hand like that. But don't He-Man this by any means. That's not what you're looking to do. That washer's going to help it. After you've done that. So now that we've monkey hand this one on, this one's nice and tight on, let's put this panel back on. So if you're still under that pinch weld, just lift it up. Drop your jack stand. And then slowly lower it. Just like that. Car comes down. Go to the other side, do the same thing. So here is O-20. All you're going to want to do is put that funnel inside the hole like so. And what I like to do is fill up about 3.5 to 4 liters first. Just do the 3.5 to 4 liters, and then you start going by the dipstick. If you even put 4 in, see where it's at, then we're going to start it and we'll top it up from there. As you can see, it's about halfway shiny right now. up the dipstick. That's right where I want it. Now I'm going to start my car so that way it pumps all that oil back into the filter. And then after it does that, then we refill it up so it's about halfway to near the top end. You don't want to go and overfill this. I will tell you that, because overfilling is actually more harmful than underfilling. So I just started the car. Next thing we're going to do is let it run for about a minute. And then after that, I'm going to turn it off and go and top up the fluids to where we need them to be. Trying to get it to focus again. There, see how the wet level is right there at the top bubble? That's exactly where we want it. Now it's time to just put your oil cap back in and dispose of your oil and everything safely. Thanks again for watching. Press a like if this helped you out and subscribe for more.